Good morning and welcome to day 22 of F260 at First Baptist Meridian. Today we look at Genesis chapter 41. And to put this chapter in context, I want to remind you of some of what came before. In the beginning of the Joseph story in Genesis 37, Joseph has two dreams, one in which his brothers' sheaves of grain bow down to him, and a second in which the sun, moon, and stars bow down to him. These dreams heighten the disdain that they already have for Joseph as his father's favorite son, by his favorite wife, no less. And so they plot against him and ultimately sell him into slavery. In slavery, he's sold to a man named Potiphar, the captain of Pharaoh's guards. But despite his lowly position, God blesses Joseph in everything that he does. And Potiphar's household is so successful that significantly the only thing Potiphar has to concern himself with is what he will eat. Then false charges are made against Joseph by Potiphar's wife, and Joseph is put into prison for something he didn't do, making advances against his master's wife. So it seems like Joseph is getting farther and farther removed from what God revealed to him in the dream. God gave him dreams of a lofty status, and he has a lower and lower status. But once again in prison, God prospers Joseph, and whatever he sets his hand to is blessed. It succeeds. And so he's entrusted with more and more authority. One day, two of Pharaoh's court officials, his cupbearer and his baker, are brought to Joseph, and they also have two dreams, one apiece. Joseph interprets their dreams, and one of them is restored, as Joseph revealed, and the other is executed, as Joseph revealed. Well, Genesis 41 is 2 years after that. The cupbearer, he got his place back and forgot all about Joseph until Pharaoh has not one, but two dreams. One involving stocks of grain and the other involving cattle. And so the cupbearer remembers what Joseph was able to do and brings Joseph before Pharaoh. And Joseph interprets Pharaoh's dreams. So each set of dreams have had a linked meaning. And Joseph tells Pharaoh, both of your dreams mean the same thing. You're going to have 7 years of plenty and then 7 years of famine. And the very same thing that got Joseph rejected by his brothers is the means by which he finds redemption before Pharaoh. Pharaoh sets Joseph free from prison and puts him second in command over all Egypt, fulfilling the dreams that Joseph had in Genesis chapter 37. And it's so interesting to me the way that food provision is part of this. Both of Joseph's dreams were agricultural, right? Sheaves of grain bowing down to him in the field, sun, moon, and stars bowing down to him. Sun, moon, and stars, which were used primarily in the ancient world to navigate agricultural seasons. Then he's in Potiphar's house, and he's so successful that the only thing Potiphar has to concern himself with is what he'll eat. Then, when he interprets dreams in prison, whose dreams are they? They're the dreams of the people who provide Pharaoh with food and drink, a baker and a cupbearer. And then when he interprets Pharaoh's own dream, it has to do with plenty and with famine. Where will provision, food, come from? And that's the irony of the Joseph story. Look at Pharaoh's dream. Both in abundance and in a complete lack of abundance, famine, God is able to provide. And that's kind of Joseph's story. At the beginning of the Joseph story, Joseph has every discernible advantage to succeed. He has plenty. But most of the rest of Joseph's story before today is like a famine. All of those blessings are seemingly removed from him. And yet God works Joseph from rejection to redemption. God provides even when it doesn't look like God would be able to. Even when it looks like God forgot what he had revealed to Joseph, he didn't. He worked it out on a much bigger scale in a way that he not only provides for Joseph, but through Joseph, he is able to provide for everyone else. And that's how blessing works biblically. It is the God who can take rejection and bring about redemption. But when God redeems his people, when he accomplishes the plans that he has for them, it's never simply about blessing that one person. It's about through those people blessing other people. If Joseph had not been sold into slavery, if he had not gone to prison, if he had not interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh's officials, he would never have been positioned to work this blessing for all of Egypt and eventually all of Jacob's own family, including the brothers who had wronged him. So this will be a building theme in the Joseph story that finally gets stated outright in Genesis 50, that sometimes what people intend for evil, God intends for good. And that God is able to take our burdens and work out blessings. He's able to take our rejection and bring about redemption, not only for us, but on a much larger scale. So you see a reversal of Joseph's state in life and the blessings that God is going to work through it in this family and for all the earth. Keep reading, keep reflecting, and keep responding. God bless you as you do so. See you tomorrow.